But I think food, it's a way of connecting.
My chefing has let me go on tour with the All Blacks, you know, the greatest rugby team ever.
Our ancestors knew what they were doing. They were fit, healthy.
Understanding what our foods do for us will obviously play a part in decision making for me and my family.
I got suing. You want suing?
Food means love to me. I think of food and I think of all of the times that my family get together and we share quality time.
My name is Amy Maslen-Miller and I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Auckland. I'm researching the Samoan traditional diet to address the onset of type 2 diabetes in Samoan women living in New Zealand. Gestational diabetes
So I know that people's relationship with food might not necessarily be the same as mine because aesthetically I've always looked smaller or slimmer. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm healthy. I've actually, out of all my sisters, was the only one that got GDM, so gestational diabetes, when I got pregnant. And if you were to go off the signs or the indicators that said that you might get type 2 GDM, my other sisters were probably ones that people would think, oh, they'd get it just by looking at them.
The main causes are eating and lack of exercise, and research suggests genetics as well plays a role. So for my work, I'm looking at the diet aspect, the food. How can we address type 2 diabetes by looking at the types of foods that we eat?
My favourite foods, I love eating, my favourite food would be seafood.
My dad was a diver. Yeah, it all started from my dad. He was the main diver, and then I just used to follow him in the water.
Now as a father of your own, do you feel like you are imparting the same kind of norms of love for water and seafood gathering on them?
I hope so. They're still quite young, but that's definitely something that I want to give them because I sort of didn't, until I was older, realised what it had given me through my father. I really want them to enjoy that sort of side of things and see sustainable living from the ocean and how you don't actually have to spend any money. And it also teaches you some great lessons, I feel like, yeah.
I work with athletes, like from Naitoa. His favourite food is seafood as well. You can obviously eat the seafood for recommended, you know, dietary, nutritional kind of value for his rugby career, but he also does it for something else, and that's what I like about it, is that food has so many different stories and connects us not just physically and emotionally, but like for him, spiritually.
When I step in the room, I'm the best dressed Texan. Add another body to my excellence. Blowing up my phone if it ain't about the money, I ain't answering the messages.
Me and Kurt Eklund started a page called Bateman and Rodden. I had always wanted to do something around the water, like diving and fishing. And speaking of Kurt, one Father's Day, I got given a GoPro, and then we just shot a video, and we were like, should we do this? And then Kurt was like, hey, let's do a fishing comp. I was like, yo, and I thought we were competing in a fishing comp. And then I see him, and he goes, yeah, look, I know this guy, we can do a whole template. And we were actually making a fishing comp, and then we sort of just grew from there. But it's just something for us because we both love the water. We both see the importance of it in our lives, and we sort of want to showcase that to the people. It's more ourselves, and we can just sort of have this little baby sitting on the side that we just feed our own energy into without it sort of hindering our actual jobs, which is, for me, fatherhood. It's so good for my mental health. Getting on the boat and fishing, also, we can sort of just get away from the world again and also just talk. It clears a lot of head noise. There's so many times we've just connected and come back. Man, you just come back and man, I love you, bro. So I love you too, man.
Everyone is supposedly being advised to go back to what I would consider a traditional Samoan or Pacific diet. And then you get your, you know, when we talk about influences, you want to touch on the points of food that has been probably like fine dining version of our food. I love that too.
So I've just got some fresh trevally here. I've chopped up. It's a principal part of our oka, of course. I actually started due to the fact that I needed money to go overseas on rugby tours. So I would play my rugby games on Saturday, and then straight after my rugby games, I would zoom off and then start working as a kitchen hand. And the whole idea was I didn't want to burden my family with having to contribute to pay for my rugby tours. But it's quite ironic now, about 20 years later, my chefing has let me go on tour with the All Blacks, you know, the greatest rugby team ever. I mean, it makes me proud. I'm super stoked. To be honest, I wasn't looking at becoming a chef. It was never something that was in the cards for me. You know, it was a bit of serendipity that I landed in the kitchen. And I think it worked well because it gave me the chance to be artistic with food. So it was good for me physically, mentally. And then as I gradually stayed in the industry, I came to find that I was really good at it. But then it also gave me a structure of getting a pay every week and being able to contribute to family life.
I find it really funny because I'm like, the food that I was told to eat as a GDM patient is actually the food that I would look at as what I would consider our traditional Samoan food.
During the 1830s, the common foods that Samoan people were eating were the galo, the ulu, the breadfruit, the fa'i, banana, the coconut, new, and the yam, ufi, and fish. Primarily, our foods were pescatarian diet and would only have about 2 meals a day, generally 2 to 1 meals a day. First meal would be after coming back from the plantation, and then the last meal would be before sundown, so they needed the light to create the umu, cook their food as well.
She actually is focusing on her research around type 2 diabetes. So because of my GDM, my chances are now higher than the general population of getting type 2 diabetes later in life. So I would love to hear more and learn about, well, then what can I do to not get type 2?
Food shows our love, it can show our respect, it supports those families who are grieving, it's a time of celebration, but it's also, food is like the glue that brings families together. Even your kongaʻis, your Sunday lunches, that food is the main event, but you know, you're connecting with people as well.
I come from a family that have really good cooks. My sister's an awesome cook, my mom's an awesome cook. And it wasn't the most fanciest meals, but you know, it was the fact that there was so much love put into that food. Every night we would do local. I would be the one that would sing the song at the end. And I guess that whole thing of giving me structure really helped me to transition really well into a kitchen, especially when I became a leader. I think my whole Samoan heritage has really helped with my leadership.
Our ancestors knew what they were doing. They were fit, healthy, they didn't have any type 2 diabetes or metabolic diseases that we have nowadays. So I believe that we can use some of that knowledge from our ancestors in the past and have some sort of variation of that today.
What's your favourite food or meal and why?
I guess chop suey. I guess it's just because I grew up with it, and especially the way my mom makes it. You know, every family goes, my mom makes the best one, my mom makes the best one. But yeah, my mom makes the best one. Tama olenu